darlings, I'm Sophie Darling and welcome back to the channel. Today we are reacting to episode 6 of Apothecary Diaries, and last episode was a little bit of an interesting one in terms of the fact that there is this whole little mystery subplot that is ongoing with the powder that is taken from fireworks, and that when it's thrown into the fire it's like different colors, and the different colors maybe have like symbols that mean something to the people that are planning and organizing. And Jinshi is a bit like, something isn't right. He's trying to track down anyone that has burns on their arm because he's like, something's going on here. Something isn't sitting right with me. It's interesting because every other episode so far, up until episode 5, has had like a little mystery element to it, but it's been solved in the same episode. Whereas this one has like dragged out. So this could be like a subplot that is going to be one that is like carried further into the series. We're going to see more of that as it develops. Sort of, I think it's going to be like a rebellion or a revolt or a coup. I don't know, but it's just kind of the coding behind like the messaging, and then the sinister almost appearance of the woman. We didn't get to see her face, so we don't know who it is, but she looked almost like sinister, and I think it has to be with maybe people planning to kind of overthrow the emperor, or maybe revolting against him. I'm not entirely sure, but it's just really interesting to see how that maybe develops. It could be that it just gets solved in this episode when they're at the garden party, but it may also be a longer plot point. We'll see as it progresses, but it's the first time we've seen a mystery aspect drag on past one episode, because usually the way that each episode has worked so far is that you have the current mystery ongoing, and then the final couple of minutes are almost like a hook to get you invested in the next episode because you want to see what happens, but it sets up for the mystery of what the next episode is going to be. And then you watch the next episode and it's all about that, and then that mystery gets solved, and then you see a couple of minutes of the next mystery for the next episode. So usually the mystery is solved, whereas in episode 5 the mystery wasn't solved. It has pulled over into episode 6, so it could be a longer plot point, or it could just be a plot point that they need to develop over a couple of episodes. Frieren kind of was similar in that the stories were all like self-contained in the episodes, and they were all wrapped up in the episodes, but there were sometimes larger plot points that were drawn out over multiple episodes, such as the first major assessment. So it's not unusual. It could just be that they want the time to expand on it and develop that process more because it's a bigger core element of maybe the manga that they're exploring, and they need more time to show it in all its glory. That's what makes it stand out to me, is that it hasn't been solved, so it has to be a larger, significant plot point or character development, or both, that we're going to see come into fruition. But yeah, Jinchi gave Mao Mao his hairpin, which is essentially him staking his claim and showing his interest in her, and she is just completely oblivious. But it's also his way of protecting her from any unwanted advances, because he has power and authority here in a way that women do not. And as much as Gyokyu can protect her to some extent, it's not as powerful as that of a man, especially a high-ranking man like Jinchi. So it is really, really sweet, and I can't wait to see how that dynamic plays out, especially others seeing the hairpin and how they react to it, because Jinchi is like desired by so many that I imagine Mao Mao's going to see some jealousy flare up. But without further ado, we're going to get into episode 6 and the garden party. Let's see how this plays out. Especially because now we get to see 2 of the other concubines as well, because we've only had the development of 2, Gyokyu and Li Hao, and we now have 2 others, like 3 women and basically a child. She's, well, yeah, I'd say she's like 12, 13. That's what she looks like, a child essentially. So we're going to maybe see how that dynamic plays out, and also the fact that she's a concubine is fucking awful, but you also have to remember that this was sort of not uncommon in this time period. I mean, most princesses were married off before they were even 12. They were betrothed from birth and married off as soon as they were considered old enough, which was between the ages of 10 and 16. It's not unusual, but it's just really sad to see because of how young she is that you can't help but feel really dismayed because you're like, oh God, it's like that reality hitting home. Like this was so normal. And in some aspects, this still happens. Not so much in terms of concubines, but you still have young girls being forced into marriages before they are old enough to really understand and before they've even really experienced life. You know, child marriage is not an uncommon thing in the world, which is disgraceful and disgusting in this day and age that any child should be forced into marriage. But, you know, it's just the reality of seeing someone so young thrust into a similar position as grown women really just sort of hits the nail on the head of how disadvantaged women truly are in society, not just in this time frame, but also in today's world where children still undergo this. Children are still forced into marriage before they are old enough to fully comprehend what that means. It's disgusting, it's disgraceful, and you kind of have to stomach it a bit because you know that it's not uncommon in this historical time frame, but at the same time you hate to see it. You hate to see it. When it comes to women and girls and their rights, you know, like we've taken so many steps forward and yet there's so much still to do in order to ensure that girls receive an education and girls aren't forced into marriages before they are ready, that girls have choice and freedom to make the choices that they want for their lives and not what benefits their family, that women are safe and protected from violence and assault, and yet it feels like the work is never done. It is at times really discouraging, but then you also have to remember how far we have come in terms of women having the right to vote, women being able to get divorced, women having access to birth control, women being able to make choices that are right for their bodies and nobody else's because it is their choice, it is their body. And yeah, we have come so far, and yet there is still so much work to do and so much to unpack and undo in terms of body image and beauty standards. But without further ado, let's get into episode 6 of Apothecary Diaries. Oh, we get to see a bit more of her backstory. Maybe she's picky with her food because she's a literal child. She's so young. Every time I see her, I'm just like, she's a baby. She definitely has the most ample assets out of all the concubines. Oh, it's the Emperor's mom. I take it she was like a child. Oh, so the Emperor has a brother? Oh no. The ladies in waiting are fighting. You know how I said I thought Jinshi was related to the Emperor? What if he's the younger brother? That would make so much sense. Because they look alike, and also he has power and authority. She's not ugly. Take that back. She also has Jinshi's hairpin in, so I mean, fuck you. Oh my! How about? I love her. She's so devious.
何よ急に黙って。もうこのくらいにしといてあげる。何なのよもう。
Mao Mao is like my favorite female protagonist so far in any anime I've watched. She's amazing.
水晶宮での壮絶ないじめを2ヶ月も必死に耐えて。一切弱音を吐かず私たちにまで気を使って。心優しい紳士様が気にかけるのも。
They've really romanticized Mao Mao.
立場もわきまえられないの？恋も色の
Oh no.
代理戦争があっちでも。
徳妃と祝妃の次女ね。あそこも仲悪いのよね。
Nobody gets
弱い
along.
14で若輩の徳妃と
Oh,
弱い
14.
35で古参の祝妃だもの。それに元嫁姑だし。
嫁姑？
お二人はもともと先帝の妃と今の主上様の妃という関係だったの。だけど先帝が崩御されたでしょ。一度
Oh.
出家して、その後今の帝の妃として戻ってきたの。
先帝の崩御。
Oh my. Okay.
特妃であるリーシュ妃は弱い9つか。政略とはいえ9つで妃とは。
ありえないわよね。9つのお姑さんなんて。
9つの姑？
Mother-in-law.
しゅ
Wait, what?
ああ、先帝の妃だったのはリーシュ様？
What? 9?
本来特妃には白の衣が妥当だが、あの濃い桃
Is she trying to be seen as more mature?
玉葉様と被ってる。
カイロ、助かったわ。またお願い。
The baby's so cute. She feels sorry for them enough to want to
持
help.
っておくといい。おい。
She's trying, and they're like, no!
かんざし？
ああやって花の園に隠れた優秀な人材を勧誘するのよ。
へえ。
まあ違う意味もあるんだけどね。
そうですか。
Like a proposal?
違う意味もあるんですってば。
Oh no. Is it gonna click what the hairpin actually means?
これをどうぞ、お嬢さん。
Oh, he's handsome.
俺、リハクって言うから、よろしく。
大型犬。
それもらったの？見せて見せて。
Yeah, he's like a golden retriever.
それだけでは寂しいでしょ。
お久しゅうございます。
Oh!
用事はこれだけ。リファ様。
She's bestowing
ごきげんよう。
her favor on Mao Mao, so she's Jinshi and Li Hao's hairpin. And Gyokyu's. Oh my goodness. So many hairpins. She's like, I'm not gonna wear them. I'll just pin them here. Did Gyokyu give her a hairpin or was it just a necklace? I think she gave her just a necklace. Yeah, because that's Jinshi's, Li Hao's, and then the participation one from the man that reminds her of a dog. And then she's not wearing a hairpin there, but she is wearing the necklace that Gyokyu gave her. The necklace then would be Gyokyu staking claim on Mao Mao, but also her favor and protection. And then she allowed Jinshi's because Jinshi obviously favors Mao Mao and she's willing to kind of share her with Jinshi, whereas Li Hao is maybe staking claim of a lady in waiting that isn't her lady in waiting, so it could be seen as quite controversial, but I don't know if Gyokyu would really care that much. But that's insane that the 9-year-old was the previous concubine. I thought it was the older one, but it's not the older one. The older one came in with the Emperor Aldua. I can't remember exactly what her name is. But yeah, she wasn't the previous concubine. she was always the emperor's concubine, the current emperor's concubine, but the younger one was the previous emperor, so his dad's concubine at 9. And then she left, and then she came back as the current emperor's concubine. I'm hoping that means that potentially the current emperor's given her a position out of kindness, that he's doing it more as a way of extending his protection because of what she may have had to endure under his father. Or maybe it was his way of protecting her from his father by bringing her into his household. I don't know, but I'm hoping that means the emperor isn't a bad guy by having a concubine so young. Technically, his dad's the fucking weird one for that. Like, his dad's the predator for having a concubine so young. Of course, in this time frame, it was seen as normal, but still, it's really unsettling. So, yeah, I'm hoping then the emperor brought her back as a concubine to protect her and to reinstate her status because she was his mother-in-law, technically. That's really weird because it seems to indicate that the previous emperor maybe had a thing for young girls because she was 9. The Dowager Empress was said to have had the emperor very young. It didn't tell us exactly how old she was, but based on Mao Mao's face, I'm going to say she was maybe like 13, 14, probably around the same age as the young concubine whose name eludes me right now. So I don't know. I'm hoping maybe if the current empress saw that potentially the reason he has her as a concubine is so that no one can touch her and she can be a child still. Because it's his way of extending protection. Because we're seeing various ways that men of status do try to protect women within society, such as Jinshi giving the hairpin as a way of showing favor, but as a way of protecting Mao Mao from the threat of anyone daring to assault her because she doesn't have the same power and privilege as the others do as concubines. You know, she's a lady in waiting. She has some power, but not to the same degree that she wouldn't be victim to somebody's predatory advances. So Jinshi can protect her that way. So now I'm wondering then if the way that it's seeming to set it up is if perhaps then the current emperor has brought the young concubine who was his mother-in-law back into his household to ensure that she remains protected and she's allowed to be a child without anyone daring to touch her in an inappropriate way because he knows that his father was intending to do that. Because I think she wasn't a concubine for long. Based on the way that it was saying, she was sent away and then she was brought back. Okay, so Lishi is also known as the virtuous consort, which can also be another way of saying virginal. So I'm hoping then that means that she was a consort, but the previous emperor maybe passed away before they could consummate anything. Well, it's not really consummate before he could, you know, because she's a child, she can't really consent, but I'm hoping that that's what it means, because if she's still referred to as the virtuous, it could then reference that she is still virginal. She is still untouched in that regard. So my hope that the way this is going is that she was a consort at 9. The emperor passed away before anything could happen. Therefore, she remained untouched. And the current emperor brought her back to protect her so that she couldn't be sold as a concubine to someone that would take advantage of her, considering she's a child, and that he is using his status and privilege as a way to ensure that Lishi gets a childhood. She gets to live a life that she should have had. She gets to be not really a child, but she still doesn't have to perform the duties associated with being a concubine. So, in some way, using his status and privilege to protect her. I don't No, but I'm hoping that's the direction it's going in. But based on the fact that they were saying that the Dowager had two sons and Jinshi and the Emperor look alike, I think Jinshi could be the brother, the Emperor's brother. I think that would be funny though, the shock that she would have if she knew that Jinshi was the brother. But then how does nobody else know? But then everything's kind of sealed and walled off, isn't it? So it's kind of like, oh yeah, he was here a moment ago and they say he's sick and no one ever really sees him. So maybe it's kept kind of under wraps because they don't want to undermine Jinshi's authority, because he's there to kind of ensure that everybody behaves. So if they know that he's the Emperor's brother, then they would behave anyway. They wouldn't fall for his good looks and be seen as, susceptible to his influence. He's weeding out people that essentially wouldn't be loyal to the Emperor as concubines because they are willing to throw themselves at other men. If they knew he was the Emperor's brother, they would be less likely to fall for it, primarily because they would suspect that he was maybe trying to catch them out. But yeah, it seems odd if he is the brother and nobody knows. But then again, is it really that odd? Because they're kind of kept on one side of the wall and the inner family are on this other side during the ceremony. It's kind of like they're divided. They're only here to wait on their consorts, but they're not actually fully included in all aspects of the ceremony. There may be parts of the ceremony that are only for the eyes of the nobles and the eyes of the Emperor and his family and his consorts, and then that's why the ladies in waiting are elsewhere until they are called. I'm not sure, but it'll be interesting to see how that plays out if Jinshi is the Emperor's brother.
こうしてみるとなかなか。思ったよりお偉いさんなのか。やはり武漢に混ざっても違和感がない。
She has a crush on him.
さっきの武漢も末席だが年齢を考えると出世頭か。あのキラキラした宦官はいないけど。
Glittering eunuch. What a name.
けど演下するまでが組の仕事。組役の命なんて。
Everyone else is terrified and she's like, give me more, I'll do it all.
食らうのは私くらいか。
Yeah, you little psycho. It's because you microdose with it. That's why. Oh my god, Mao Mao. She's crazy. I love her.
このナマス、帝の好物だよな。いつもなら青魚が使われてるけど、今日はクラゲか。帝の食を預かる小食が好物の具材を間違えるはずがない。
Oh, she doesn't like it, does she?
魚苦手なのか。帝の手前残すわけにもいかないよな。
Oh, why would someone do that to her? That's so cruel.
嫌なものを見た。
Oh, that's so mean.
やたら威勢のいい毒味役がいるぞ。
怯えながら食事する姿なんて見て何が面白いんだ。
Only she's not terrified. Oh no, we've another lover boy. They're all lover boys for Mao Mao.
どれだけうまいんだ。
She doesn't realize the effect she has on people, which is amazing. I love it.
これ毒です。
毒なんて本当なのか。毒味薬は飲んでいただろう。大臣、何を。
Is she going to purge?
おい、大臣がスープを飲んで倒れたぞ。
He's gonna go after her, isn't he? But he was about to go sit at that table. He's the Emperor's brother!
薬や。
ごきげんよ。
She's like, I'm good.
ご機嫌はそっちだろ。
しまった。毒に浮かれてつい笑いかけたみたいに。
I love this show.
何をするのですか？
医務室へ向かう。
毒なら吐き出しました。体に異常もありません。本当はあのまま飲み込みたかったけど。そして今
Wow!
毒が全身を巡って。残りのスープをください。
お前、バカだろ。
向上心が強いと言ってください。
Oh,
お前
she's
が出て行った後、
so
本当に
funny.
毒入りかと飲んで倒れたやつもいるんだぞ。
誰ですか、そのバカは。
大臣だ。おかげで余計大騒ぎになった。
Yeah, like, why would you drink it if somebody
なあ
said it's
これを
poisoned?
使ってください。
Then she really cares about her.
宦官もかんざしをもらうのか。
No, it's
それよ
not.
り襟も少し乱れてる。いつものキラキラさんも
Whoa! Wait! 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 If he is the Emperor's brother, he's not a eunuch. He can't be a eunuch. Because if the Emperor dies, he would be next in line if the Emperor has no heir. So he can't be a eunuch. Ah! He can't be. It wouldn't make sense because it would disrupt the royal line. Because if there's two brothers and the Emperor doesn't have a child, his brother is next in line to the throne. His brother's the heir. Essentially, until the Emperor has a boy, Jinshi is the heir to the throne. He's the heir to their kingdom. He can't be a eunuch if he's the Emperor's brother. He can't be. He's not a eunuch.
遠石で姿を見ないと思ったらそういうことか。でも今なら年相応の青年に。というか、だいぶ幼く見える。
Oh, is she becoming a little bit more infatuated with him?
聞く、さすが宮廷局の薬。
大丈夫か？
Mao, fucking hell.
もう何も出ません。
She's iconic.
話を聞こうか。誰が玉葉妃に毒を盛ったのか。
そのことで連れてきてもらいたい方がいます。リーシュ様を呼んでいただけませんか。
リーシュ様、私に何のご用でしょう。
このような無粋な場所に申し訳ありません。
次女が
Why is she itching? Is it that?
食べられないのは魚介ですか。
She's allergic, isn't she?
食べられないものがあるんです。ですが、いつもとナマスの具材が違ったので、何かの手違いで玉葉様とリーシュ様のお食事が入れ替わったのでしょう。
Wait, so then was somebody trying to poison her instead of Gyokyu?
死んで済みましたが、時に呼吸困難を引き起こします。知っていて与えたのなら、毒を盛るのと同じことです。
You smirked. It's like you knew. Why would you do that to her? It's so cruel.
万が一の場合、注意事項をまとめておきました。もちろん、取らないのが一番ですが。
Oh, she's shitting herself.
命に関わる問題であること。夢夢。
どういうことだ？
下船のものゆえ。
Don't touch me.
そんなことを言うのはお前くらいだ。
では皆気を使っているのですね。
待て。なぜ毒味役の次女をわざわざ同席させた？
何のことでしょう。
とぼけるな。呼べと言っただろう。
注意事項を伝えるためです。
No, it was more than that. He's not
最
stupid.
善の者が間違えたというのか。
No.
狙われたのは徳妃、リーシュ妃ということだな。
他の皿に毒が入っていなければ。
そうか。
Why would someone want to target her? She's a literal child. Maybe it's jealousy.
疲れた。
Again, people do weird stuff
先日
to
の
try and
や
elevate their
は
own
り
position.
関わりがあるのでしょうか。先ほどの次女に火傷の跡はありませんでしたが。
一体誰が？
God, I love this show. This show is so good. I love it. I just love Mao Mao. I think she is probably up there as being like my favorite female main character. I love Freerin, but I feel like Mao Mao just kind of edges it for me. I don't know what it is. She's just a little psycho. I love it. She's so fierce and unshakable. And her dynamic with Jinshi is amazing. I don't think Jinshi is a eunuch. The more I think about it, he was heading through the curtains to sit at that table, which was the Emperor's brother. He can't be a eunuch if he's the Emperor's brother. It wouldn't make sense historically. And I know this is based like on a fictional period, but they still are very true to Chinese history. So it would make absolutely no sense for him to be a eunuch. He's not a eunuch. He's not. No, I love this show. I love this show. I can't believe she was smirking though. What does she gain from punishing her with making her eat something she knows she's allergic to? And also the dishes were swapped. So essentially somebody messed up and it wasn't Gyokyu they were targeting. It was Lishi. So it's like, why her? Why are they targeting someone so young? Is it because they feel like if they take her out, then someone can replace her? They can take up her position as concubine? Do they feel it wouldn't be as noticeable if she died and it was seen as an accident because she's so young and hasn't necessarily formed the same connection to the Emperor as the others? Maybe they see it as a waste of position and privilege because she is potentially there as someone who is not being touched by the Emperor. Therefore, she isn't contributing to the growth of the empire because she's not bearing children. She's potentially still a virgin. She's not known the emperor in that way. So maybe they see her in that position as almost a waste of space, and that in getting rid of her, they could replace her with maybe someone else, someone that they can puppeteer, or someone that would elevate their status, or maybe it's a lady in waiting that thinks that if she's removed from the picture, she could catch the emperor's eye and take her place. I don't know, because court politics are incredibly toxic, and for all we know, it genuinely could be jealousy. It could be someone looking to supplant another. But the way she smirked is so sadistic to do that to someone. And they're saying, oh, she's so fussy, like as if she's not a literal child and just not taking her concerns into consideration. They just overlook it, meaning she is being neglected to some extent. Even if she was fussy and it wasn't due to an allergy, she's allowed to not eat something if she doesn't want to eat it, and she would have the authority to demand that she not be served that, and they would have to take her seriously. But they're almost chastising her and talking about her like she's a child. And I mean, she is a child, but they're forgetting that she's also considered a consort. She has power and privilege. She has authority over them. And I think maybe they're taking advantage of her being so young to maybe try and manipulate her and puppeteer her. Maybe someone thinks that if she's ill, they can then maybe influence her directly because she's weak and sick and maybe dependent on them. Jinshi seems to be convinced that it's connected with the fireworks, and well, not the fireworks, but like the wooden blocks that had firework powder that caused the rashes on the arm. He thinks it's all connected somehow. So somebody is out to target Linshi, but we don't know why that is because it's not Gyokyu that they're going after. So it isn't in relation to Gyokyu having had a baby and producing not an heir, because unfortunately princesses cannot inherit, but still producing a lineage of the emperor. So it's not in conjunction with that. I wonder if it could be political, because it may be something to do with Linshi's family. Maybe Linshi's family is one that they want to harm by killing their daughter or removing her privilege and status, or I'm not sure. I'm sure it will all begin to make sense as the series plays out, because again, this matter hasn't been wrapped up in this episode. It's going to continue. But yeah, Mao Mao has quite a few admirers, doesn't she? Golden Retriever Boy is looking at her with admiration. I wonder if we're going to see jealous Jinshi come out, because he's going to potentially have people competing for Mao Mao's affection. And she likes his, oh my god, I can't remember his name, but he serves Jinshi. And he's the one that warned Mao Mao to be like, don't encourage him. Don't berate him because he likes it. Don't encourage him. We don't need you to encourage him. And then she's kind of got like a little sweet spot for him, even to the point that she's like pointing him out in the lineup, being like, oh yeah, he's clearly of high rank. Like, oh, that's amazing. It's probably like the only man she speaks highly of with affection. So yeah, I cannot wait to see a jealous Jinshi, but that man's not a eunuch. Calling it. That man's not a eunuch. He's not a eunuch. And he is the Emperor's brother because he was about to take that table. Either way, I love this show. I love this show so much. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this react, please consider liking, subscribing, and leaving a comment below to help boost this video into the algorithm. And until next episode, bye.